House Committee on Power says the policy scheduled for implementation from April the 1st this year should remain on hold until it concludes talks with stakeholders. The House of Reps says it has received about 50 petitions by electricity users against government and private electricity operators.
Now, Speaker of House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila said the increment should not be allowed until estimated billing is also criminalized. Public Affairs Analyst Alistair Wilcox joins us now in the studio to bring us up to speed and give us understanding and perspective to this. Alistair, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, nice to see you. Yeah, it's quite a while, but it's good to have you around.
I think
now,
it's only TV that can do that. Bring me at by 6 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, and we appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Now, the point there is, these issues have been back and forth, on and on, in and out, when it comes to what direction these things should take. The issue of estimated billing, remember the House of Reps took an action against it one time saying this thing is illegal.
That was in 2015.
Exactly. Now, here we are with the issue of incrementing tariff. Nigerians are still asking, you are increasing tariff, we're not getting the light. Why not give us the meters first so that there is value for money? What's your assessment on this?
Well, because I'm involved and one of those that has had to fight the discos, especially a Electricity distribution company, where my house fall under, and I think that's one of the most irresponsible disco we have in the country. Because I've always been on estimated billing, and I know what it costs me every month, what it takes out of my coffer, including the threats that they bring on you. They will send you an estimated bill, and within 7 days or so, they'll come and yank off your light and everything. So many Nigerians are involved. I'm involved, so it pinches me directly. And so I'm speaking from a position of strength this morning. I don't understand what NERC, that is National Electricity Regulation Commission, is up to. One will expect that a regulatory body should seek the interest of the consumer first, because when you're regulating an industry, why are you regulating the industry? It's for the consumer to have value for money.
So you check excesses?
Yes, so you check the excesses of the operators. Now, if NERC, that has been in existence for God knows how long, and as of today, seems like a toothless bulldog in reining in the discos, then something is wrong. I was shocked to my marrows when I heard of increase in tariff. A thing that we've been on the road for far too long. We've looked at these things and we've been on the road for this long. And then somebody is waking up at the middle of the confusion that have not been sorted, that have not been settled, to say we want to increase tariff. When people are dissatisfied with the activity of discos, people are dissatisfied with every aspect of the so-called privatization. And so and the best you can do is to say you want to increase that. Then something is wrong with the regulator. Because I have had several discussions on this. I've had on several forums, I've had discussion, I've had argument, I've had debates on this issue. What do you put first, the chicken or the hen? Oh, no, sorry, the egg or the chicken? Which comes first? Now, you are giving somebody estimated billing. You have no respect for the person. You threaten the consumer. And then you still have the temerity to ask for an increase. On what? So, the
argument is the monies that will be recouped certainly will be plowed in so that they can deliver better.
And they don't run out of business.
No, do you have to steal? Look, because this is daylight robbery. Do you have to steal from the consumer to show up your working capital, or to then come to the consumer and sell shares to them legally? Let them buy shares into your company. Then they will raise money for you to be able to do whatever. Now, Ikeja Electricity says it is not their duty to give meters. The government has made it clear it is not their duty to give. Meanwhile, that was not the original agreement. You are supposed to meter every home. They did it. They went to some extent, and at some point they stopped. Today, you are asked to go to MAP, one platform they call MAP. Maps. You go to MAP. You go to MAP. You will not be able to get through. A lot of people that have filled up the MAP platform, as of today, has not been able to, not even to come and do assessments. Talk less of being given a meter. And then in this bare-faced criminality against the people, and then a NERC will not think of talking about increment, whatever they think about it.
Alistair, it's nice to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
Now, what difference will this make now that the House of Reps is throwing its voice into the issue of incrementing tariff?
Yes, because I understand that there's a bill before the House that criminalizes estimated billing.
Absolutely.
And that bill has been going back and forth in the House of Representatives. And until that bill is passed, because everybody believes today that the discos are ripping off Nigerians. One, they don't want to meter Nigerians deliberately. Two, they discover that those that they are metered because of the poor epileptic supply, they are not making much money. So if you don't criminalize estimated billing, then you are giving the discos a license to kill.
But some would differ on this because the challenge for them, the former chairman of NERC had said, Sam Amadi said that that is not the way to go because it means that every disco that doesn't meter their customers will be arrested and put in jail, and then you have cases that will take a while to be tried, but that there should be other punitive measures that are clear enough that will compel discos to meter their customers.
Sam Amadi set a wrong precedent, so I don't even expect that Sam Amadi should even have a say in this matter. But that is not being personal about Sam Amadi. If from when this whole contract was signed, it is part and parcel of the contract that metering is part and parcel of the contract, then what are we talking about? Now, will anybody expect, look, like we've had this fora, will I expect that I should keep paying for what I never consumed? Those that work in the discos, will they be happy to go to a filling station and get their car filled and said,
he said this is more of a technical and managerial matter. So it should
there is nothing technical, there's nothing managerial in stealing from the people. Now, there's what they call value for money. Every consumption that you make has a value. And if that value cannot be determined, then it is stealing. We have a consumer protection in this country. There are other regulatory bodies that goes about checking what others do to ensure that a customer is not being ripped off. We have the NCC that regulates the telecom industry, and every day they come up with policies to ensure that the customers are not being ripped off. Therefore, electricity is not different. There's nothing technical. Look, if I consume 100 units of electricity, charge me for 100 units of electricity. And how do you do that? Is when I have a meter that you can read. We've had this over the time. When it was NEPA, when it was PSC, and when it was what they call the first time in the 70s. I can't remember the name now. There is meter which the NEPA officials goes every day and read and bring a bill to you. It is criminal for you to sit in your office. I assume that my 2-bedroom small house that I don't have a freezer, I don't have a TV, I don't have anything. Or a woman that is selling, that is just managing a one-room somewhere, and then at the end of the month, you send him a bill of 22,000. And then when you complain, he said, and what they tell you now is that because they install a meter somewhere, and so they share across board.
So they advise you to go and pay something.
Just pay something. They don't. They say they tell you to pay something, but that they are piling up your debt. And the next day you see them looking hungry with their ladder to come and yank off your light.
All right, let's be civil. But however, the issue there is we have meter production companies or meter manufacturing companies within Nigeria.
Yes.
And they have shown capacity, they've shown skill in their ability to deliver and meet demand as it comes. Yes. Why is it difficult for Nigeria or government or even or PHCN to just engage them and see how we can distribute meters to Nigerians?
The same question we have been asking over and over. As at the time this professional season started, there's a company in Nigeria, a friend of mine, Pastor Mondo Bane, promoted this thing all over the place, wrote to NERC, wrote to the PSCNs, and the discos. A company in Nigeria is ready to do this job. And everybody, look, that is why I say there's a conspiracy somewhere. And so when the regulator begin to conspire with the operator against the consumer, then something is seriously wrong. Because a regulator like NERC cannot, in the face of bare criminality, in the face of where people are complaining, the complaint is not just me and you. Everybody complaining, apart from those that have meters. Okay, if you have meter, you will not complain because if there's no consumption, there is no charge. But those not, my majority of Nigerians don't have meters. So if they are complaining, and then a regulator will at the face be thinking, contemplating of an increment, there's something wrong. So Nigeria should stand toe-to-toe with the House of Representatives. That bill, whatever it is, let us criminalize estimated billing so that they will not bill anybody until you have, nobody said,
until you've been metered.
Until you've been metered. So don't bill anybody until you've been metered, and then let there be redress. I expect that NERC should have created an avenue for redress on even this, because there is so much confusion, so much. Go to any of the disco's offices. I visit this office almost on a monthly basis. I send them stinkers in terms of complaints, and they do nothing about it. Rather, they will keep piling up your bill, and they will come and tell you the next day they see them come and yank off your light. So, and people are being killed. Look, there are a lot of people that are being killed. There are a lot of NEPOs that are being killed. There are a lot of people that have been arrested because of this controversy. And I think NERC should be a more responsible regulator than what they are doing. So we'll start with the House of Representatives. All right. Alistair Wilcox, thank you so much.
Even though the House of Reps is pushing for the criminalization of the estimated billing, which has been on for some time now, there has been questions as regards the sincerity of purpose, because the consumers are worried. This has been going on back and forth. What is the certainty that this will even pull through in the first place? Consumers are also talking about something that will ensure transparency in all of this that we are pushing. How can we achieve that?
Well, I think saying that the speaker saying that 50 petitions were removed, I think, well, I mean, that's a child's play. Is a 50 from his
constituency?
Staff, from his staff.
Oh, okay.
Not even talking about his constituency, now from his staff, because I know the speaker comes from one constituency. And if there's any reason, I don't know if those 50 are from just his staff alone. Because I think that if he wants to have petitions, he will get millions and millions of petitions from the consumers. So it is something that is worth looking into critically. I'm happy he's talking about the criminalization of estimated billing. And if that law is not passed, I don't think the discourse will stand up. I mean, it may not be sending them to jail, but a fine that we either crumble, because you see, you need to have enough financial muscle to run a power company. It's not for, a power company is not a child's play, because you need to invest a lot in the equipment. And
that's why some have said the privatization in the first place was faulty.
I agree with you completely. Rather than privatizing our old NEPA or PSTN as it was called before the president, to persons that have, one, the technical competencies, two, the financial muscles. Because if you look at it, what they bought really, and they were saying it, I do not subscribe or have sympathy for them. They were saying that they bought scraps. Okay? Before you buy a product, you'll have done your due diligence. They were all after acquiring national assets. Because most of these schools are owned by Nigerians who do not have any knowledge of running electricity, of running a power company, who do not have any. So they just went to have some technical agreement with some mushroom technical companies abroad, so that they all their intention with them was to grab and either balkanize or just to rip off Nigerians. But because if you look at it, Nigeria is a big market. So anybody that owns any business that is a day-to-day consumer required business, it's already having a cash cow. So that was their intention then.
Yeah. Alisa, now on the other hand, the government even stands to benefit more if the power sector works.
Exactly.
But the government is not able to take this thing headlong. Why do you think that is?
Is it that challenging?
No, I think there's a conspiracy somewhere. I say government as a government should benefit more. But government as individuals operating a government thinks that they can benefit more by allowing this mess to continue. That is why a regulator like NERC, that should be ashamed of itself, that should be apologized to Nigerians every day as to their failure. Because Nigerians are not asking for too much from the discos. Give us meter. Nigerians are not even asking for 247 power now, because they know that would be a long-term achievement. So Nigerians are just saying, look, give us meters so that what I consume is what I pay. I cannot be paying for darkness. I have been subsidizing with my little income, which is one of the most irresponsible disco we have in this country. Every day they will send an estimated bill. Every day you just.
I prefer we are sensitive to the companies, because the point is they face their challenges.
Whatever they face, they should not take off the frustration on the consumer, because this issue of sending a consumer a bill, an outrageous bill. I don't get a bill less than 15,000, 12,000 naira every month. And for which my neighbor that uses prepaid does not spend up to 3,000 naira in a month.
And that's why consumers are calling for transparency and
we
fairness.
need that transparency, and NERC must live up to its expectations rather than coming to tell us about any increment. Nobody should accept that.
All right, Alesta Wilcox, we'll leave it here now. Thank you for your time.
It's always my pleasure to have you. Thank you.